Linguistic intelligence. Give someone with linguistic intelligence a room, a microphone, and 5 minutes, and they can make you laugh, cry, or sign a petition you didn't think you agreed with. This is the kind of mind that runs on language, quick with metaphors, sharp with comebacks, and lethal in a debate. Think of lawyers dismantling arguments, comedians twisting words into punchlines, or teachers who can turn a boring chapter into something you actually remember. It's not just knowing big words, it's the ability to use them like precision tools. A brilliant communicator can inspire revolutions. They can also sell you garbage with a smile. Linguistic intelligence is the ability to use words so well they don't just describe reality, they help determine it. Logical, mathematical intelligence. Ever met someone who treats life like one long math problem? They're the ones who calculate the tip before the check lands, clean up at blackjack because they've figured the odds, or choose a vacation spot because the exchange rate is favorable, not because they actually want to go there. That's logical, mathematical intelligence, the brain's ability to break problems into steps and see patterns the rest of us miss. It's more than just school math, it's the engine behind science and technology. It connects cause to effect, challenges assumptions, and follows the chain of reasoning all the way to a solid conclusion. It's how researchers test theories, how programmers track down bugs hidden in thousands of lines of code, and how engineers make sure a bridge holds. While other kinds of intelligence can persuade, imagine, or inspire, logical mathematical intelligence actually demonstrates. Every skyscraper, every vaccine, every app on your phone depends on this kind of thinking. It gives you the kind of answer that doesn't just sound right, it is. Visual spatial intelligence. Parallel parking on the first try isn't luck, it's geometry. If you can picture the path your car will follow, anticipate the space it will occupy against the curb, and then steer to match that image, you're using visual spatial intelligence. This is a fundamental form of human intelligence, the ability to think in space. It's how you mentally manipulate shapes, distances, and orientations. You see it when someone guides a couch through a stairwell at exactly the right angle, packs a trunk like a puzzle without planning, or reads a map without rotating the page to match their direction. The same intelligence powers surgeons who navigate instruments through 3D anatomy and animators who spin ideas into vivid worlds. It's also the artist who imagines a sculpture before carving the stone, and an athlete who anticipates exactly where the ball will land. While some people rely on trial and error or verbal instructions, those with strong visual spatial intelligence run the simulation in their head and know the answer before they move. If you're still doing a 10-point turn to park, well, now you know which type of intelligence to blame. Bodily kinesthetic intelligence. Ever wonder how a gymnast knows exactly where the ground is while flipping blindly through the air? Or how a basketball player can adjust a shot mid-jump without looking at their hands? That's bodily kinesthetic intelligence at work, the mind using the body as its instrument. It's the ability to sense where every limb is, how fast it's moving, and what adjustment will stick the landing. Athletes use it to control balance and momentum, dancers to turn movement into rhythm, and dentists to perform delicate procedures that demand unwavering fine motor control. For some people, intelligence shows itself as words on paper. For others, it shows up in motion, in the perfect golf swing, the chef slicing at lightning speed, or the steady hand guiding a needle through fabric. Just goes to show that intelligence isn't only in your head. Sometimes it's in your body. Musical intelligence. Play a song once for most people, they might hum it later. Play it once for someone with musical intelligence, they'll sit down and reproduce the whole thing note for note, melody, harmony, chords, and bass line included. The auditory cortex in people with musical intelligence processes sound with the precision others use for language or math. They don't just enjoy music, they decode it. Like a kid who figures out how to play an instrument without a single lesson, a composer who hears an entire symphony before writing a note, or even a mechanic who can diagnose an engine problem simply by listening. If a perfectly timed chord gives you chills, if you can match pitch without effort, if you feel the exact moment a beat should drop, you may have a piece of it. For some people, music isn't something they listen to, it's how they think. Naturalist intelligence. There's a reason some people can walk into a forest and find every edible plant while you're still trying to figure out which way is north. Naturalist intelligence is pattern recognition in the living world, knowing which mushrooms will heal and which can kill you in 6 hours. Reading weather in cloud patterns, predicting when animals will move, breed, or attack. It's what kept humans alive for thousands of years before modern technology. Darwin had it, Jane Goodall had it, but so does the gardener who can tell poison ivy from a harmless vine, and the sailor who reads the horizon and knows a storm's on the way. You also see it in the dog trainer who understands instinct better than commands, and even in the cook who intuits what flavors pair well together. For most people, nature is scenery. For them, it's a conversation. They're fluent in a language the rest of us didn't know we were supposed to learn. Emotional intelligence. You walk into a meeting. Everyone's smiling, but something's off. You can't name it, but you feel it. That's emotional intelligence, better known as emotional quotient or EQ. Some people don't have it at all. They bulldoze conversations, wonder why everyone's upset, and genuinely can't see the problem. Meanwhile, others are reading expressions, adjusting tone mid-sentence, and diffusing tension before it explodes. EQ comes down to 4 things: self-awareness, self-regulation, empathy, and social skill. It's knowing why you're irritated before you snap, keeping calm when everything's burning, catching what people aren't saying out loud, and steering conflict without blowing up relationships. While people may brag about having a high IQ, EQ doesn't boast. You see it in the therapist who holds silence long enough for the real story to surface, the friend who shows up with chicken soup when you're not feeling well, and the hostage negotiator who keeps a desperate situation from turning violent by staying calm and reading the subtleties in every tone. Someone with an IQ of 150 and no EQ? Brilliant and completely alone. Because what people remember isn't your test score. It's how you made them feel. Practical intelligence. Your phone dies in a city where no one speaks English and you have no idea where you are. Some people freak out. Others just handle it. Practical intelligence, otherwise known as street smarts, is solving real problems without a manual. Like the mechanic who fixes your car with duct tape and intuition. The city kid who knows which streets you don't walk down after dark. Or the traveler whose flight gets canceled but manages to find their way onto the next plane. Psychologists call it tacit knowledge, the stuff you don't learn in school. Which risks to take, which people to trust, when to bargain hard, and when to keep your mouth shut. Entrepreneurs run on it. So do survivors who rely on instincts and quick judgment when there's no clear set of rules. It won't get you into Harvard, but when the power grid fails and modern conveniences vanish overnight, it might just be the only intelligence that matters. Creative intelligence. Leonardo da Vinci studied the wings of birds and turned those observations into sketches for flying machines centuries before flight was possible. Picasso, inspired by African masks and Iberian sculpture, broke with the rules of perspective and reimagined how space could be shown on canvas. Both were practicing creative intelligence, taking what already exists and transforming it into something original. It's flexibility, curiosity, and the willingness to break convention. It's holding multiple perspectives at once and questioning assumptions everyone else accepts. Marie Curie did it when she pursued the mystery of radioactivity long after her peers dismissed it, and her persistence transformed science and medicine forever. People often think creative intelligence is just about art. It isn't. It's anywhere someone refuses to accept the obvious answer and finds a new one instead. It takes what if and transforms it into what is. Interpersonal intelligence. Why do some people enter a room and everyone gravitates toward them, while others clear the space without saying a word? The answer is interpersonal intelligence. Reading people, connecting with them, and influencing behavior without force. Teachers with it know which student needs encouragement and which needs a challenge. Salespeople with it listen more than they pitch. Leaders with it build loyalty through connection, not authority. And mediators use it to bridge conflicts, finding common ground where others only see opposition. It's knowing how to read the crowd, recognizing alliances, tensions, and unspoken rules, sensing when to push and when to step back. It's the difference between leaving a conflict with a stronger relationship or walking away wondering why everyone resents you. Psychologists say it's a key part of intelligence, and in a species that survives through cooperation, that's hard to argue with. You can be brilliant in isolation, but if you can't work with people, your ideas stop with you. Intrapersonal intelligence. Most people think they know themselves well, but ask them why they keep sabotaging relationships, why they procrastinate on things that matter, and why certain situations always set them off, and they come back with nothing. Intrapersonal intelligence is brutal self-awareness, not the version of yourself you wish you were, but the one you actually are, flaws included. People with it know what triggers them, what they truly want versus what they think they should want, and why they keep repeating the same patterns. They don't just notice it, they use it to make different choices, and then act deliberately, not out of habit or impulse. You won't see it on a resume, but it's the difference between evolving and being stuck in the same loop for 30 years, wondering why nothing ever changes. Socrates said, "Know thyself." Turns out, most people never do. Crystallized intelligence. Crystallized intelligence is the storehouse of everything you've learned, the vocabulary you've built, the facts you've absorbed, the practical wisdom you've gathered over time. It's the reason someone can solve a tricky crossword, recite Shakespeare from memory, or explain how to change a tire without looking anything up. Unlike some abilities that fade with age, this one grows. Every book you read, every conversation you have, every experience you've lived through just adds to it. It's why a seasoned doctor can diagnose in 2 minutes what might take a new grad hours or days, and why a grandparent can offer life advice that just makes sense. Crystallized intelligence is the library you carry in your head, written by a lifetime of experiences, where knowledge doesn't just sit on shelves, it's checked out and used every day. Fluid intelligence. You're handed a puzzle you've never seen before. No instructions, no examples, just pieces scattered on a table. If you can spot the pattern, test a few angles, and figure it out on the fly, that's fluid intelligence at work. Unlike crystallized intelligence, which is your mental catalog of everything you've learned, fluid intelligence is reasoning in real time. It's thinking on your feet, adapting to new challenges, and solving problems when there's no ready-made answer. Psychologists measure it with abstract reasoning, spatial puzzles, and pattern recognition, tasks that reveal how quickly your brain can process the unfamiliar. With age, fluid intelligence tends to fade, while crystallized intelligence keeps expanding. You may slow down, but experience gives you more to draw from. One is speed, the other is depth, and together they help you handle life's toughest challenges. Existential intelligence. Most people think about what's for dinner. Some people think about why we eat at all, why we exist, what happens when we die, whether any of this means anything. That's existential intelligence, the capacity to raise life's biggest, most unsettling questions and the ability to sit with the uncertainty of not knowing. You don't need to be a philosopher to have it. It shows up in anyone who pauses midlife and asks, "Is this really it?" It's in kids who look up at the stars and can't stop wondering how it all began, and in adults who keep wrestling with the same questions when there are no easy answers to be found. This kind of intelligence can weigh heavy, too much of it, and you spiral into despair, stuck on questions that don't have clear answers. But it can also fuel breakthroughs, shaping religions, inspiring revolutions, and driving discoveries that shift how entire societies see themselves. Most people move through life without really using it, but for those who do, existential intelligence leaves you with the hardest truth, the possibility that there may be no meaning at all. Savant intelligence. Kim Peek could recite 12,000 books by heart, but couldn't button his own shirt. Stephen Wiltshire draws entire cityscapes from memory after a single helicopter ride, but he struggles with everyday conversation. Daniel Tammet sees numbers as colors and shapes, which somehow lets him recite pi to over 20,000 digits. That's savant intelligence, an extraordinary talent in one very specific area, paired with significant challenges in other aspects of life. Some demonstrate near-perfect memory, word for word. Others can tell you the exact day of the week for any date in history, and some can tell you the answer to a complicated equation before most people have time to reach for their calculator. About half of savants are autistic. Many others have brain injuries or unique developmental conditions. What they all share are remarkable skills, without practice or training. Scientists think it's a kind of brain compensation. When one part of the brain is damaged or wired differently, another part becomes exceptionally powerful to compensate. It's not always a gift. Many would trade their extraordinary abilities for a more typical life. It just serves as a reminder of how intricate, complex, and still unexplained the human mind really is.